Welcome back to Soul Mastery for the soul led entrepreneur who desires it all purpose, power, and profits. I am your host, Chaitali Desai, business and success mentor who has helped many entrepreneurs build and scale their businesses using the lens of human design, hypnosis, and other energetic strategies to not only help increase your impact, but your income. And today, I have a special guest all the way from Alaska, which I think is super exciting because I would never have guessed that's where she lives. But Carmen Benton, she is a retired corporate executive, mom of three, a renowned master mindset and energy coach with expertise that spans the globe. So before I keep going on and on, let's just bring Carmen on. And Carmen, welcome to Soul Mastery. I'm so excited you're here.
Oh my God, thank you so much for that introduction. I'm so glad and so happy and honored to be here.
Yes, thank you. So I didn't want to keep going on with your whole introduction because what I found is there's more power in hearing it from you. So let us know a little bit about you before we get into the beauty of today's episode.
Oh, thank you so much. And that's exactly something I told someone I interviewed this morning. So yeah, I totally relate to that. So I am a retired corporate executive. As you said, I'm a mom of three, turned into a mindset energy coach. And really what I do is I help women in leadership, overachievers, anyone who has a desire to grow and take their life to the next level, to do it in a way where you don't have to burn out, where you don't have to lose connection with those that you love, and you can really find fulfillment. And I call it holistic success.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think in this day and time, especially with the whole hustle culture
Mhm.
and the lack of respect of boundaries, right? And so for women especially, we are where do you wear 3 million hats throughout the day? And then on top of it, you're adding the hustle and you're adding the grind. I think let's dive into that because so many people don't understand what it's doing to their body and they're doing their affirmations, Carmen, but they're not seeing the results. So let's kind of start from there.
Yeah, totally. So I have been a proponent my entire life of personal development. I mean, I
Mm,
have been in live events for Tony Robbins, for Jack Canfield, for Bob Proctor. And so I'm going to say I had my mindset together for the longest time. Yet, as you describe it, it's like something was missing. Like I
yeah,
was still burning out. I was still a prisoner of my limiting beliefs, of my unresolved traumas, all the things that I wasn't aware. But I didn't know. Like if you ask me, like, is there anything we need to fix? Is there anything you need to work on? It's like, no, 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 I got it. Like I do my affirmations every day. I meditate every day. I do
right.
yoga. like,
And
but
still,
yeah, and still it was a struggle to really find that balance, right? And then I was one of those like, oh, work life balance doesn't exist. That's just something that someone made up. They're probably not a mom. They probably don't work, right? Because I
right.
couldn't attain it. It was like killing me to even try to pursue something that I thought it was unachievable.
Yeah. And what I find funny, I mean, it's not funny, but it's kind of funny because so many of us go through that, especially when we're driven. Even
Mhm.
if you don't want to be driven, it's in you. And so and for me, if you don't answer the call, it becomes heavy. And it kind of speaks to like that burnout also indirectly because that heaviness, there's a cost to it. And then on the flip side, I know we have to like you can hustle and grind, but it's not 24/7. So I just want to clarify that part. We have to show up to do the work. But how did you start to create this shift? I'm sure there
So
had to have been a story behind this
oh
one.
yeah, there's a story, but I want to bring back something that you said. You use human design to help, or in your intro, human design
Yeah.
to help your clients. And I didn't know anything about human design until like a year ago,
Oh,
and
okay.
I would have been a totally different person if I knew this. So now my kids know the human design and their strategies, and I'm always like telling them, what they should do in one case, but also have modified the way I talk to them because I'm a projector. And
Ah,
I,
okay.
and I have a generator teenager, and I have a projector daughter, and I have a manifestor generator. So we have like everything. But what I was gonna say is I was getting burnt out for a couple of reasons. One, my need for praise was such and so ingrained in my heart because I had childhood traumas related to emotional neglect. And I just wanted someone to tell me that I was doing a good job. And so it became addictive. And I became a workaholic. I worked, I got praise, I was great at it. And I got a raise, I got promotions. And it's like, oh, this is working, right? Like external validation. But like any drug, you have to keep increasing the dose so you get the same dopamine rush, right?
Yeah.
So it became this monster that I couldn't control. Now, all this I wasn't aware, right? Like it was just happening in the background. It was
Yeah.
happening in the background. Funny, and it's I that's one of my words that I like to say too.
Right. Because what else do you say?
Right. It's not really funny, but it's kind of funny.
Right.
um, I always wanted to give my children all the love and connection I never had. But somewhere along the way, that kind of got lost because of my need for praise and reward and success and achievements and getting more, getting more, getting more. And life just snowballed from there. And then one day I woke up and my son was 15 years old and he had a girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
And so now I'm thinking, all this time I'm thinking, I still have 3 years. I figure something out. I'll work less, I'll hire more people. I'm almost to the level I wanted, right? I'm almost at the C-suite. And so uh, I'll make it. And then I'll spend the last 2 years, I'll take a sabbatical, something. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, now he's 15 years old. He drives, he has a girlfriend. And the least person in this world he wants to spend time with mom.
Yeah.
And that really hurt me.
Yeah.
And it made me, I, it woke me up. But at the same time, I'm so grateful. This is where my mindset actually worked, because I could have just sit there and be depressed about it. But instead, I was like, okay, I have 2 other kids. Maybe I lost that battle. I'm still going to try to fight it, right? And I did, and I won it. But like, I was thinking, maybe I lost that one, but I have 2 other battles that I can win. And that's what woke me up and started my healing journey.
Oh, wow. I, how I look at mindset, it's the foundation, or
Mm-hmm.
it's like the start. It's kind of like when I've never laid foundation in my life, but I've seen it on TV when they're mixing the cement with the water. That's kind of what I think of now, knowing what I know, when I think about mindset, because we get to go further, and a lot of what you're sharing has to do with the nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We get into this adrenalized state, our cortisol is constantly running, and we don't understand why it's 8 p.m. I should start to wind down. But now you have the TV going on, you're on your phone, and the radio's going on, and you're talking to someone. And we're wondering what is happening to us. But it's, as you said, it's the adrenaline hit. It's those cortisol hits that say, okay, I want more and I want more. But now you start to wake up. How are you course correcting? Or do you course correct? Or like, what's happening now?
So when I started to slow down and trying to, steer the ship to the other side, not very easy to do when you're going
Yeah.
100 miles an hour, I started paying attention to my physical signs that I had been ignoring forever. I had daily migraines, I had stomach ulcers, I
Oh,
had
wow.
hives everywhere in my body. But for me, that was hashtag the price of success.
Yeah.
And right. And
Yeah.
yeah, as you say, cortisol level, I was gaining weight. I was moody, like very irritable, had like zero patience and tolerance for anything. I would like just explode in a second for anything, right? And so
Yeah.
as I slowed down, I started paying attention to those things and really realized that I was miserable. Like all the success, the income, the positions, the titles, the corner office, none of that really made me happy. Don't take me wrong, I like money,
Yeah,
but
girl, me too.
but
Own
it
it.
right, but it's not just the money. That is not the destination. And I had to change that in my head. And so the very first thing I did is I said, this is like 2 years ago. I said, I'm gonna write
Okay.
a book.
Oh,
And so I started writing a book about self-love because that's the journey I was going to start, right?
right.
Allowing myself permission to go for a walk in the middle of the day, allowing myself permission to take a bath, because all those things were like, no way, you're not weak, right? You're a strong woman. You're supposed to do it all. Wear your badge of honor. And so, and then didn't have the example. My mom never took time for herself. I never saw her doing any self-care or anything like that. So I didn't know what to do. So I started writing this book, and writing a book is about the most healing thing I have ever done in my life. I have written 4 books, and in 2 years. And every
Excellent.
time I write something, if you're doing it right and you're opening your heart and you're sharing your experience and you're going deeper that you can actually take it, it will heal something in you.
Mm.
So self-care, self-love is the first thing that kind of start opening the window to, oh, maybe I do like myself. Maybe I deserve better. Maybe I do need to put that boundary, because I didn't think I was good enough to put the boundary. I didn't think I was worth it of like spending time taking care of myself, right? I will take care of everybody else.
Yeah, we're last on the list if we're on the list at all.
Right. And I started implementing these routines to the point that it's funny. So I live in Alaska, as you mentioned, and there's not a lot of sun here in fall through spring. And I'm from Panama, so I really need the sun, and I get very grumpy when I don't get sun.
Yeah.
So now part of my self care routine is at least twice during the winter go to Hawaii. And it sounds
Oh,
luxurious, but it's the closest beach that I have, and
how convenient.
yeah, it is very convenient, and I have make it all work. But it's so funny that now my kids, after halfway through the winter, if I start getting moody or something, it's like, are you going to Hawaii soon?
Oh, I love it.
Because they know that when I take care of myself, I show up as a better mom, as a better person, as a better leader, as a better mentor. It's just
Yeah.
better for everyone. So self-care, self-love will be the first part of my healing journey.
That's interesting. This last weekend, I attended a conference, and it's called Selfish Philly. And
Mm,
the creator of it, very similar story, except her story, she ended up getting cervical cancer.
mm,
That was not HPV positive. It was due to stress. And hearing that story, there was another woman who's in PR, and she was on there and she was sharing her story, and very similar in how much she was like, okay, I'm this external validation. Obviously, it feels amazing. And so we get that loop, that like feedback loop creating, right? And so, but it pushed her in ways that I wouldn't wish on anybody, And what I found very interesting is we're, again, in this space where when we think of self care, we think of indulgence.
mhm,
We don't think of it as a necessity. Like, you when you think of your car, okay, you're going to take it in for its oil change, its tune-ups, all the thing. Well, our body is very much that way, right? So it's it's shifting the thought process there. So you mentioned you're originally from Panama. When did you come to the States, or how long have you been in Alaska?
Yeah, so I've been in the States for 24 years now. I've been in Alaska for 16.
Okay, so I ask that because as I was born overseas, so I'm an immigrant also, right?
Mhm,
When we moved here, my parents had to work their butts off. There
mhm.
was no days off because you're coming to a place where you don't really know anybody, you learning the ways as you go. Self-care is not even on the like they don't it's not even a topic. Like I got barely enough sleep last night, but I'm going to work. Like that's the topic, right? So what I think is beautiful is that in your journey, you've had the opportunity to show your children
Mhm.
what it really means to live this holistic lifestyle. So when it comes to working with you, is this what you're working on your clients with?
This is one of the things, right? One of the things. I think, like you were talking about, foundational mindset is foundational. I
Yeah.
believe that self love and self care is foundational. If you don't take care of your body, your mind, your energy, right? Because self-care is not just the body. It's not just let's get a pedicure, let's get a massage. Is are you feeding your body what it needs, right? Or are
Yeah.
you just right eating junk food?
Right.
Are you what thoughts are you allowing in your mind to percolate, right?
Yeah.
Are you protecting your energy from social media, TV, the toxic person in the grocery store, all
Right.
those things? So yes, that's something absolutely that I work with my clients.
Especially for a projector, that's so important. Getting
Mhm.
your rest, getting your quote unquote downtime. You're still doing something, but it's not like it's almost like you're watching Netflix while your brain is processing through everything, and you're, oh my god, here's my next idea, oh, here's my next quote unquote download, right? So for a projector, like, that is huge to protect your energy. I'm
Do
a
you know?
manifesting generator, I can keep going,
Oh
but
my goodness. How liberating it was to me to see my chart and see, oh, look at that. I have zero power in my sacral. So if I'm tired, I'm just going to sit here and I am not going to feel guilty about it because
that's it
I,
right there.
right? Because I couldn't ever before a year ago sit in the couch and just be there like, I'm just chilling. Like
Yeah.
if there were dish, I need to be doing something, cleaning,
Yeah.
mowing the lawn, doing gardening, folding clothes, doing homework, or working. I needed to be doing something to feel worthy of what I have, which was so screw up. But
But as women, that is so ingrained. Doesn't matter your culture, your color, your caste, religion, it is ingrained for women.
mhm,
It's definitely something that's very personal to me. And as you know, because we're both in the Women Thrive Summit, like, that is a huge talking point for me, because we don't we cannot get ahead that way, not
mhm.
as just women, but as a society, as a culture, as a whole. It's so important. Now, when you were talking about in your intro, you were talking about the energetics and the quantum leaps by healing from within. What does that mean for a potential client of yours, someone who's listening and they're like, oh my god, Carmen, I'm at burnout, help me.
Yes. So I have learned through my own story, but also through the hundreds of clients that I help, that burnout is just a symptom of something deeper. The root of pretty much everything that happens in your life is how have you resolved events, let's call them trauma. I like to normalize the word, but
Right.
how you have resolved, processed, released, and learned from the lessons that these events have brought you. So when you have gone through any traumatic experience, and this could be that you wanted to talk to your mom when you were 5 years old and she was on the phone and she told you to go away. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, it could be something as simple as that.
Yep.
And you internalize, I am not important. My problems don't matter. So now I am going to become a person who is solo against the world. I don't need anybody. So I use the Enneagram to um, help my clients kind of like put themselves in a category, not because I like to put boxes, but it helps the brain to understand, why do I get triggered?
Right.
Oh, because my core wound is rejection or judgment or bully or something like that, right?
Right.
And so how you process it? Well, you need to have the tools to process it. So it's storing your brain with limiting beliefs. It's storing your body. That's why people end
Yes.
up with cancer and diseases. This is your body just trying to release the emotion. And unfortunately, I do believe in soul journeys and soul contracts and all that. If you don't learn the lesson and really take everything you needed to, it's going to weigh you down.
Show up again.
And so I use mindset tools, I use somatic practices, and I use energy to help my clients just really clean all that.
I
All
love
that.
it. We have so much in common with that, because it is definitely mind, body, soul business approach for me
Mhm.
also. You can't have one without the other.
Mm-mm.
And when you come into it, and what ends up happening, you end up becoming like this beautiful channel. And it's not that you stay that way, that's an active practice,
Mhm.
which I'm sure, like, for me, it's walking, moving my body physically to kind of get the gun going and releasing. But when you start to go down this journey, how has it changed you?
Oh my God. I don't recognize the person I was a year ago. I just came back from a retreat, actually, talking about self care, with some ladies that started this journey with me. And we were all in awe of each other,
Oh,
of
wow.
how far we've come in a year. And it's not like my journey started a year ago, but a year ago I enrolled in some certifications. And so this was the culmination of 3 levels of energy certification. And we, a year ago, like we will trigger each other, or we will be like just so stuff up in our heads, thinking that we have it all together and we'll figure out. And now we were like, humble and loving and giving and present, and just a totally different person, right? Like I live my life, and it might sound cliche or whatever, but it's true. Really, I look people with so much compassion because I have seen so much and I have endured so much. And I understand now why people act or react the way they do. And I know it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with anybody around them. It's all a survival mechanism. It's all about the fight or flight system being, activated in your brain. But I also know it can be healed. And
Yeah.
so that will be the number one thing there. I would say I'm so different. So different.
Yeah. And what's beautiful to watch as you're talking, you can see the joy. And for me, joy has been a theme that's come up. There are a few themes, but joy has been a dominant one. And I've been asking my guests, you know, what brings you joy?
Mhm. The one thing that brings me joy right now more than anything is spending amazing time with my children, because I almost lost them, but I got them back.
That is
And,
wonderful.
I have teenagers. I have 2 teenagers and an 8-year-old. And um, I mean, we were talking before we started that I need to tell my daughter to stop texting me because we talk all the time. And I know so much about her life. Her friends love me and we do things together. And just like that openness, like 2 years ago, we were two strangers living in a house. And now, it's like, oh, should I wear this color now for the homecoming on Saturday? Which ones you like? Things like friends. And and there's a barrier. I'm still her mom. I'm still gonna, not let her do whatever
Yeah,
she wants. But the fact that we're having those type of conversation, for me, it's like I got a second chance, and that brings me joy.
I
And
love it.
the future brings me joy. The
And you
excitement
have a
of,
book coming out soon too, right?
oh my God, there's so much happening. There's a book coming up with Women Thrive. Right, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I am preparing to do a series of speaking events. We have the summit together, Women Thrive,
Yeah.
in March. But I'm also applying for TEDx. And
Woo.
yeah, and so this is where, my projector, all my throat gates are lit. That's about the, I'm a splenic projector. So
Okay. So spleen to throat.
yeah, yes.
Okay.
So it's like I have found my magic, right, with human design. And it's like,
It unlocks so much. It is amazing.
yes. And it's funny because again, we use the word funny.
Yeah.
So I like to use both enneagrams and human design, and I found the most profound, it wasn't a quote, but kind of like explanation or in the differences. It's
Okay.
human design is who you were to be without conditioning, and enneagram is who you became because of conditioning.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so now I'm like, ooh, okay, so I'll use enneagram to get you out of the conditioning, and then you can use your human design to be who you were supposed to be. But
Yeah.
without cleaning the conditioning, it's kind of hard, because then you don't see like how I'm supposed to operate this strategy. Right.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never even thought about it in that way. So
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to, yeah. My you can smell the smoke. My wheels are turning. So if I know you have a gift for our audience today, you want to share about it?
Yes. So one of the things I have been doing lately, when I say lately, I say a couple of months, very heavily, is breath work. So I've done it in my journey, but about 6 months ago, I got certified as a facilitator. And I love it because it's almost like marinating, like tenderizing the meat, right? Like, and I use that word because my 8-year-old was asking me yesterday what is tenderizing, so it's fresh in my brain. But it's like it is an amazing tool that helps you agitate all this trauma stored in your body so you can process it, right?
Okay.
And as you said, like, I believe none of these tools by itself work. All together is this beautiful recipe that helps you, just do anything you want.
I love it. So, to our audience, please definitely grab this because
So
breath work,
yeah.
it's one of the easiest ways to step in, help clear,
Mhm.
and just open and expand, right? No matter where you are in your journey as an entrepreneur, as a mompreneur, whatever your title is, or whatever hat you happen to be wearing, we're always having to take in breath.
Yes.
And why not do it intentionally? So, Carmen, thank you so much. I am so excited for everything you have going on, and I cannot wait for our March summit together. It's going to be phenomenal. Any last words you want to share?
Oh, I'm just honored to be here, Lee, with you, and thank you so much for the opportunity. And yeah, I mean, excited to help your audience with breath work, and it's transformational. The only warning I have to say is you're gonna get addicted to it, but
Good way. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Carmen, thank you so much for being an amazing guest. And I am Jay Desai. Until next time, we're wishing you a beautiful day.